He hid in the corner. He wins the game!
I have found my calling in life. It's to bring you guys games like this. I just absolutely love them. Cannot get enough. These commentator freakouts in the greatest championship of the entire chess calendar, the Speed Chess Championship on chess.com. I'm going back to 2022 here. It's the semi-finals. We've got Hikaru Nakamura, the one and only, with the white pieces. His opponent, the young Indian talent Nihal Sarin, and wait till you see the king walk at the end of this game. It's chess gold. Let's jump right in. Here we see d4, opening move from Hikaru. Knight f6 in response. The clock times are on the left. They got 5 minutes each and they're getting time back per move. That's called increment here. Online chess. So c4 in response. e6, knight f3, and a queen's gambit declined on the board. Boo, boring, but wait, give it a moment. e3 now played, slightly unusual because usually this bishop comes outside the pawn chain, so he's not happy with this one. He's like, what's going on, dude? I was trying to develop there. b6, keep that one in mind though, we do see some freedom soon. Knight c3, bishop b7, the classic way to fianchetto, probably best not to do it with the rook, right? And now we see an exchange on d5, pawn recaptures, and aha, the point is revealed. Hikaru can now check. He induces this c6 move. Why would he then drop back, lose time, so to speak? Well, he's saying, hang on, you've blocked your own bishop. You're going to have to spend time one day moving the pawn. So potato, potato. Don't know if that made sense. Knight b to d7, castles, bishop d6, and now Hikaru's point of playing this one earlier, he was keeping this in the back pocket, e4, and you can hear the bishop on c1 scream. So takes on e4 played. Knight recaptures. These ones go into the blender. Bishop takes back. And after castles, let's take stock a moment because the pawn structure's changed. Hikaru's got the IQP, isolated queen's pawn. That can be a weakness in the long run, but in response, bishop g5. His pieces flowing into the game, and this is known as having the initiative in chess. Your opponent's on the back foot for the time being. So queen c7, rook c1, very natural chess. h6 drives back this bishop, and now rook fe8, and everything explodes into tactics now, mixed in with the positional stuff, because Hikaru takes on c6, winning a pawn but giving up a piece, but then d5 is the point. You're winning back the piece. There's a pin here, of course. If bishop moves, you drop the lady. Not ideal. So knight b8 played, preparing after pawn captures to win back the pawn. But there's a new pin now, and that's why we see queen a4 taking advantage, more pressure on the knight. So rook a to c8, very natural. And now I'm drawing on the board a couple of natural computer moves, bit more defensive and stalwart, right? But what does Hikaru do? Well, b4. He explodes the game here with this move, looking to win the knight, which is pinned. But oh, what a move from Nihal, rook e4. That is one powerful cannon. Look how it goes in 4 different directions, like a compass. It's preparing to chew east and west here, like an explorer going across the world. And that's why you can't go b5 or you drop your queen here. So we see a3 supporting the pawn, and now there's a tactic in the air made possible by this exceptional rook here, center of the board. So well done if you can see the best move for black here, the tactical shot. It's bishop takes on h2 with check. Looks impossible because knight takes, you've lost a piece for a pawn. But okay, then you left the defense of the bishop. This is the tactical point. And after knight f3, rook g4, rook c3, preparing to double the rooks, there's an amazing tactic here. In fact, the tactic existed just a moment ago too, but it's the same theme. What can black do here? Very, very nice idea. Missed. It is a blitz game, hard to see. Well, very well done if you can see the theme of knight d4. you hang an entire queen, but you cannot take it, or it leads to takes here with check. The king sidesteps, and that is a checkmate, a kind of Anastasia's mate. So that would have been really beautiful, but it was missed. Instead, queen b7, natural, breaking the pin. Rook fc1, b5 drives back the queen. You've now got a triple alignment of those pieces. By the way, I don't believe this is an Alekhine's gun, or Aliekin, however you say his name properly. The rooks have to stand in front and the queen at the back of the gun for it to be a pure Aliekin's gun, right? So this is a hybrid of it. Either way, you've got to interpose one of those rooks. So this was played, pawn recaptures, queen takes, the material balance restored, but Hikaru's got the advantage. He's got a 2-on-1 here. He can generate a passed pawn in the endgame. So knight e7, we see more pieces getting hoovered off the board. Nihal going James Dyson over there, and now queen c6 offers an exchange. It was a playable endgame, but Hikaru goes for this. That queen spraying in two directions like a water pistol over there. Now we see queen c7 covering, and knight d4. Excellent centralization of that steed. Heading for knight b5, forking these two, winning a pawn. So queen d7 played, covers the knight jumps as well, dominates that knight in fact. Anytime a queen or bishop sits in front of a knight like that, you're always going to stop those forward jumps. So b5 now played, and knight d5 was best, centralizing the knights and keeping them on the board. But knight f5 played, Hikaru chops them off, and now we enter an endgame which is very difficult for Nihal. Queen b1 check, king h2, queen slides back here, f3 now played, another check, king g1 and queen h4, setting a trap. If you go ahead and win a pawn here, well, now there's a perpetual. You can never escape it. That's going to be a draw. So that's why the pawn wasn't touched on a7. Instead, a5 played, queen b4. Now the pawn pushes on, takes, no queen recaptures, or else once again you walk into a perpetual. So pawn takes on the board, and now g5 stops queen e8, check, and mate, or else forcing the queens off. So that's why you give room. Now king f1, queen b1 check, and look at this for a game of kiss chase that suddenly appears on the board. The black lady is after this man on f1. We see king f2, queen b2 check. Come here, you big handsome hunk. Chasing him round the board. He's like, nah, I'm not interested. g3 exposes himself even more to these incessant kiss chases. Finally, some cover. Queen b1 looks for an actual checkmate, I believe that would be. No, then the king runs, but not ideal. So king g2, more kiss chase, king f2, sorry, queen f2, and this lady's like, nah. Girl, you need to go get your own man at this stage. So queen b4, she scurries off. g4 now played. King g7, queen e3, queen b2 check, she's back. Now the king goes, she won't stop, carrying on. It's getting a bit awkward now. King g3, queen b1. Now the white lady starts going to go and give some checks over there. And this is the moment here. This is the famous thumbnail, right? The king walk on the way. It's insanity. It's beautiful. This king here, it reminds me of the cave in the prologue of Lord of the Rings, right? You know when the ring is bouncing down and the lady, she's like, it abandoned Gollum. I think it's Galadriel, isn't it, saying it? Well, look at this king, just like the ring and how it abandons Gollum. This king abandons these poor little pawns here. Watch this. More kiss chase, but now pawns dropping off the board. Hikaru drops two pawns with check. Look at this absolute avalanche of black pawns there on the king side, but it's for nothing when the quality of this pawn is so much. Because now it advances, check, you can't swap the queens of course, And look at the route that this king is going on here. Just marching round the board. Truly incredible stuff. Nihal, to his credit, creating problems. You know, the pawn is pinned. Can't go through here. So Hikaru now gives a check here. We get f6. Now king a7. And keep your eye on that white monarch. It's truly awesome stuff. The king going around the board here. We're not pausing for deviations that were possible. Sometimes the computer flickers and says you could have had a winning move, sometimes not. But this is where the king marches on its way to safety. Don't play king f7. That would be more of a Vidit move, right? Sacrificing the king. No, king f8 is the one. Queen b4 check. King g8, queen b3 check, and king h8. That one reaches the promised land. It's come from its own side of the board, been on some insane excursion round, right? Landed over here. This is where the commentators are going nuts.
He hit the corner! He wins the game!
And this is why you've got no more checks, no more kiss chase for you. So f5 now, the queen is made, and this is how Hikaru mops up the game here. It's awesome stuff. It lasts just a couple more moves before Nihal throws in the towel, resigns what to do. You're getting mated here. You don't even need to start picking up pawns. You can literally just force through some kind of checkmate. Nothing left to be said. That one is incredible. I hope you enjoyed. And if you're not yet a member of the Epic Chess community, get on over there. We've just launched. I'm doing a launch party tonight. Another game review if you love these games. Then tomorrow we've got pub quiz. More reviews later in the week. Connect with other people, right? So much going on in the space. I'm going to grow it with your support into the greatest online chess community in the world. Link below, and first 100 people to sign up, we're entering into $1,000 giveaway draw. So much to see there, and I really hope to see you inside the space. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you soon.